The financials on this year's March Madness won't be totaled up for a while, but in all probability, the 2012 NCAA tournament will set new records for ratings and revenue. So when TV ads sell out, when arenas fill up, where's the growth potential? Social media, of course, and joining us from San Francisco to discuss March Madness as a social media phenomenon is Bloomberg West reporter John Ehrlichman.
About social media, and we talk about the valuations of companies like Facebook and Twitter, two local companies out here that do have these skyrocketing valuations. It's these kinds of events when people start to say, oh, that's why they're worth so much. I mean, it's taking that water cooler conversation and keeping it going online, especially key in this kind of sporting event, which is taking place over a period of time, and being able to help the advertisers go between the big night games and that time when people are talking in the offices. They're watching television. And I think this is the kind of thing that makes sense to everybody, especially the big media brands that, you know, I don't have to tell you are spending as much as they are for the rights to games, in this case, the March Madness games, and then going to advertisers and charging them in the neighborhood of whatever it was, $1 million plus for 30-second spots, and then those advertisers wondering, is this really the best use of my money? Well, if there's a way for those advertisers to be told that, look, it's not just for those eyeballs, the people watching the games live, it's people interacting online during those games, which almost makes your buck go that much further. And that's what seems to be why there's all sorts of intermediaries right now that are being born, really, to try and make that a reality and to try to justify some of the big price tags on all these sporting events.
And, John, look how incredibly prolific those numbers really are. One study of social media tracked 2.46 million tweets the tournament's opening weekend and found the upsets generate the most traffic. It's got to be good news for schools like Norfolk State and Lehigh that you can't literally buy that kind of exposure. Don't you agree?
You know, absolutely, and the Lehigh numbers are they're amazing. I mean, their web traffic, I think, was up something like 500% over the course of the tournament. Justin Bieber tweeted about Lehigh. I mean, like that's cash in your hand. Their Twitter and their Facebook audiences grew in the neighborhood of 8 and 9% over the course of the tournament. So immediately, this is a school that has 10% higher audiences in social media. And what do you do with that? I think this is where the schools have to be careful. Lehigh was fairly savvy in that during games, you would have seen that they were tweeting a lot and tweeting about what their school was all about, or at least what they wanted the world to see as the message about what their school is all about. And I don't think that's very different than some of the big brands out there and how they're tackling social media. I mean, when you look at companies like Coke and American Express and how they approach Facebook right now, it's not to sell one can of Coke or get somebody to use one more American Express card. They're really focused on building these relationships forever. They want you to be a lover of Coke forever. And I think schools fall into the same boat, especially if you're a school like Lehigh. Build on the buzz, and then where do you go from there? You try to develop that relationship by getting your message out as quickly as you can.